Comrade Chris, not at all. I agree with you 100% because what you've just highlighted there is what I stated in an interview I had with Financial Times. I actually put in those same words that where the country is today, I do not think this regime is ready to see another window of crisis emanating from Garo, given what they've already created in the southern Cameroons. The stakes are high, they know it, and there is panic. Now, Issa Tchiroma's decision to refuse appealing anything through the Constitutional Council throws their entire game plan in the water because this is not what they were prepared for, and this isn't what they thought would happen. So at the moment where we are, the Bia's regime is in confusion and total panic.
Thank you. Let's look at Issa Tchiroma refusal to acknowledge the Constitutional Council. What does that mean to people who are in charge of that Constitutional Council? Because what I see is fear everywhere, not just within the Constitutional Council, but even elected members. When you have ministers beginning to ferry their families to Europe, do you see elected members and the Constitutional Council members saying, well, our lives are not safe, our families are not safe, our homes are not safe, probably we have to do the right thing here? Do you see that happening?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think if you see the reactions, what we've just seen so far after the elections in Chang, even Garoua, and partly Douala, is a tip of the iceberg. And it's a little message of what is still to come. And these elected officials you've mentioned there and members of the Constitutional Councils are all human beings with their eyes open. And when they see the anger, the frustration, and the determination of people now ready to go for the wars, they will need to think very strongly of whatever decision they are taking. And I do not know if you came across a clip that was circulating that showed an encounter Issa Tchiroma had with his close circle. I'm not quite sure how that was recorded and shared publicly.
I saw that. I think we have that clip here in the studio. If our technician can look for that clip,
if
please.
someone can play that clip, it's not a long clip, just that little clip. If they can play that clip, then I'll take it off from there because there's a lot in it.
Well, just go ahead while we get a technician to look for that clip, please.
Yes, that clip where Issa Tchiroma is clearly telling his close circle that there is no way they can believe in the Constitutional Council because the person who leads it is appointed by one individual. The ELECAM that is to manage the elections, the people running ELECAM are appointed by one individual. And the executive at every other institution that should be in charge is elected by one individual. Now, they cannot just sit back and rely on those institutions to tell them or to declare them as winners because they cannot go against the individual who has appointed them, not even elected them. And what was crucial in what he said is, we are going to force those institutions to do the right thing. That was a strong message. That they, meaning the people, he was telling the people that they are going to force those institutions to do the right thing. Now, how that force is going to come, we are still waiting to see. But the fact that he has rejected even appealing going to the Constitutional Council, he has refused recognizing the Constitutional Council and say he's not going there, sends a strong message. He's telling them that I have won the election. And if there is somebody to appeal these elections, it should be the person who has lost the elections, who is Paul Biya.
Yeah.
So as long as he's concerned, he has no case in front of them. They should go ahead and declare him the winner. That's a clear message he's sending to them. And that's a very strong one.
When you see ministers beginning to pack their families, send them abroad, and we're even learning that Even Biya himself is about leaving the country. We don't know. But what message does that send to other regime cronies who are seated there?
I may not have the exact information or details of ministers already leaving the country, but it will not surprise me. The tension, the panic within the country is enough to tell any level-headed minister that it is not business as usual. Over the years, you've played the game, you've rigged elections, you've conducted elections for the sake of conducting them and chosen and declared who you wanted to declare as winner, and Cameroonians have taken it. Or the adversary who should have fought hasn't fought. The game they're saying this time around is different. So it's not business as usual. And that is why any level-headed minister or high standing official in Cameroon should be thinking twice. So if there's information of people leaving or exiting the country, that's not surprising because their lives could be at stake. One thing which I've noticed over the last few days is the disappearance of Atanga Jipo, who had been playing the role of the communication minister for the regime, playing the role of the defense minister and everything. He was quite vocal and very arrogant before the elections with all the threats that we knew. But I've been waiting and hoping to see him come out in his normal arrogance to send troops to Garoua to arrest Tchiroma. That's not happened. I do not know whether the regime has realized that leaving Atanganji go out there with his wild attitude could inflame the situation and have decided to pull him back as a way to contain him. Or is it that they've just decided let those in charge of communication do their job? Is something which we all are wondering. But I'm quite keen to see or to hear what Atanganji should be telling the press since after the elections. He hasn't done that yet.
Let me take you to this footage that is emerging from Garoua. You know that Garoua is a hometown of Sodo-Cotton. They call it a cotton producing company. Look at what is going on there. Look at it. Now, what you are watching there, you have citizens, civilians, not taking the security of Issa Tchiroma for granted. They are literally stopping every truck, every vehicle that passes by and searching it. That truck, as I understand, belonged to Sodo-Cotton, the cotton company up north. Look at what the citizens are doing. They just want to make sure Cameroon is not carrying arms into the north. Those are citizens taking the law into their own hands. What do you make of that, Eric?
Yeah, this is quite telling. This is quite intriguing to say the least, because if you see of how determined these people are, it's reminding me of the 90s, where you kind of like see a civilian population taking the security of their own individual or their own hero into their hands, meaning they no longer trust the state institutions or the state security apparatus that should be doing that job because of suspicion. What I am saying there is quite revealing and telling, I would say. And to me, it again reinforces the message that these people mean business this time around. They are not taking any chances, and they wouldn't let go anything that isn't the way or what they think it should be. That's what I'm seeing there. A
Absolutely.
determined population.
Let me bring in the chairman, Elvis commenter here. Elvis, again, once more, it's great to have you, sir. You have been watching the developments in Cameroon since Sunday, their elections day, and you see the tenacity of Issa Tchiroma to defend the vote and that of the people to defend the vote. Compare that to 1990 with John Frundi, sir. You think the people are more resolved this time?
Okay, Comrade Chris, thanks for inviting me to the show. Before I start, I must first extend greetings to all Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, and most especially to those in the trenches. That is our Ambab guys who are defending the territory, all Ambazonian prisoners of conscience, the IDPs, refugees, and all Southern Cameroonians. Yes, in 1992, me, John Frundi of blessed memory, won the elections, but he was never president. In 2018, it is alleged Mr. Kanto won too. He never became president. Cameroonians have learned. I hope that this time they have learned. We are seeing some differences from the two previous elections. We're only talking about presidential elections, but there have been other like parliamentary elections which have been rigged. So this is not the first time. It was not just in 1992 and in 2018. This time, I hope the people will stand up and continue as they've been doing since Monday. They have been pushed right to the wall, and they cannot, yes, they have pushed the wall, they can't break the wall, so they have to fight back. And Cameroon, as you know, is governed by thugs. These are armed robbers, these are gangsters. And the people should continue with this pressure, because these people will not, waiting for the Constitutional Council and waiting for elecam, this will not change anything. These people, they believe they own that country. And the people should stand up and continue to do what they are doing, knowing that if they don't do it, Mr. Issa Tchiroma will never be president of Cameroon. He will never be president. Yes, the pressure is there in Garoua, some pressure in Douala, but it should be in all the regions. It should be in all the regions of La République. They should stand up. Yes, it's difficult in Yaoundé because you have the military there, but how many soldiers do we have against the people? Cameroon is already, we know Cameroon all over the world, the Republic of Cameroon, that is La République, for corruption. And it's not strange that after an election, they have to take 2 weeks to declare the winner, with a population of less than 30 million people. Nigeria is next door. They are almost 300 million. The US is, okay, let me not even quote the US because the US is more developed. But Nigeria next door, they have a population of about 300 million, Yet they can proclaim results after 1 day. So why is it that in La République, the results are being kept for 2 weeks? So the people this time have realized that if they don't stand up, they will keep on suffering. And of course, those who are in government, they are thieves, they are armed robbers, as I've said. And I don't even think Mr. Issa Tchiroma should be waiting for the Constitutional Council to do anything. He should form his government right now. And if he's not allowed to come to Yaoundé, they should start from where they are. Yes, before the Constitutional Council or before these thieves are allowed to escape. To me, they should not even be allowed to leave the territory. They should be, all of them, they should be rounded up and locked up. And all the monies they've stolen over all these years, they should bring the money back. So I'm pleased that the people have realized that the fight is theirs. They have to do everything to support the candidate they voted for. Thank you.
Eric, I'd like you to pick up from there. Look at the point about Eleka having to take more than 2 weeks to declare results for a country of just a little over 20 million people, compared to Nigeria, a country of close to, over 200 million people can declare their results in days, and Cameroon cannot in 2 weeks. What can you make of that?
It's an embarrassment, to say the least. It's an embarrassment, because what Comrade Commenter has said there is something that baffles even foreigners who are watching and hearing what is going on in Cameroon. Because as you guys rightly put it, we have Nigeria. Let's not come to the Western countries. Let's stay in Africa. Nigeria, that's next door, as you said, has a population of about 300 million with an electoral register of 90 million. These are registered voters.
Yeah.
Come to Cameroon, we have that population of about 30 million with an electoral register of just 8 to 9 million. In Cameroon, there are about, I think, 31 or 34 polling stations. In Nigeria, there are 107 to 1,000 polling stations. And results in Nigeria, the law in Nigeria allows it to declare those elections between 1 and 5 days. But if you follow the elections, the results are always out there within 2 to 3 days. If there are any complications, within 2 to 3 days, the elections are declared. Let's go to Ghana. Let's say they may say Nigeria is a big economy and they have the resources or whatever. Let's go to Ghana. Ghana, with a similar electoral register like Cameroon, releases their results within 72 hours without any dispute. So what the heck does Cameroon need 15 days to do? It's simple. It's simple. They are saying it. Cameroon doesn't need 15 days to tally, compile, and publish results. They need 15 days to make the necessary adjustments of rigging. Because rigging is not as simple as it sounds. It's a complicated game. It's a complicated game. So they need time to get the results from the polling stations through the different stages, manipulate them, adjust them, make sure the rigging is not so obvious, up to the point where they are comfortable with the figures they've had that they can publish. So the 15 days is not to tally, compile, and publish results. It's the time they need to rig those results, to fix the results. And also, part of that game of having or needing 15 days is because they know that after each elections, there is anger and frustration. The people are excited. There is so much momentum, just as we are saying now. Now, they know should come immediately and release the fixed results or the rigged results. That anger is still burning in people. And the tendency of them exploding is very high. So their calculations are that if we take 15 days to do the fraud or whatever we are doing, during that period, the momentum would have subsided. The anger would have subsided. People would have started returning to their normal daily activities and slowly getting out of that election euphoria. That's why they need the 15 days. It is not the time they need to declare elections. No. It's for fraud and to manage the momentum and anger.
There is the danger, though, of them indicting Issa Tchiroma with going ahead to create a cabinet, as Chairman Kometa suggested, because they would say, well, you went ahead and formed a cabinet when you know you lost the elections, when you know the elections had not been proclaimed, any of those. Frundi tried that in 1992. It didn't work. How can it work this time?
The difference this time around is we are dealing here with a completely different human being. The Issa Tchiroma, we are saying that he's your friend. He declared that he was your friend. I'm sure you know
one of my best friends.
Your best friend, as he put it. You know the lion of a man he is. People don't quite know the Tchiroma. That is somebody who is determined to go down to the end of it and see the end of the game. What he is counting on, because as far as he's concerned, he's determined to see it all through. What he is relying on and counting on are the people. Are the people going to stick with him? If Tchiroma has the energy that he needs, he will see this through. That is his game plan. He knows he's taking extreme risk and engaging in some very delicate moves that haven't been seen before that could be counterproductive. But knowing the regime that he has worked with, knowing the way they operate, he knows how to counter it. It takes a devil to kill a devil. In my village where I come from, when a wizard dies, you can only get another stronger wizard to do the final burial. In this case here, I think Cameroon has one who is ready to mark an end of this regime, of the bigger wizard, and Tchiroma has that fire in him. That's the person Cameroon needs. About indicting him or accusing him of violating laws and whatever, they say when you violate illegality, you are respecting legality, you are respecting law. What he is violating there is illegality. He is violating abuse. When people abuse power, you should violate it. When people are abusing what is there to protect the people, and then you stand up to challenge it, you are the highest respecter of that law. And I think that's what Tchiroma is. The institutions that are there are for window dressing, and that he knows it. So if he's disobeying it, he is showing respect for the law or for the Constitution of Cameroon.
Let's look at the potential of what is going on in Cameroon now with a possible insurgent in the north, because I know if there should be any insurgency, it will start from the north and then come down to the center, that is including Douala all the way to Bafoussam, and the ongoing Ambazonian conflict or war. Can Cameroon, would they not be so stupid to think that they can handle Tchiroma and handle the Ambazonian conflict? Chairman, let me start with you.
Comrade Chris, these people, they don't think. They know they own Cameroon, and they don't believe that anybody will stand up and dare oppose them. One is a country without a constitution, because there are no laws. A country where the president appoints even parliamentarians or senators. So you see, it's about cult worship, one person, the president. And for them to keep on doing what they have been doing, the population has to support them. But this time, the population has come up, has stood up and said, no, we can't take this anymore. Up in the north, you know, it's very possible where there's Boko Haram there, but apart from that, arms can flow easily from Chad into North Cameroon. Of course, across Nigeria, they're the same people, they use the same currency there. Where you go like to bank him there, you don't know whether you're in Nigeria or Cameroon. The difference is when you see sand, you know you're in Cameroon. When you see a tar road, you know you're in Nigeria. But they use the same, they use either Naira or CFA there, and they speak the same language. So this time, their backs, the government, the regime, I don't think they expected the people to rise as they have done this time, because they've been doing this for over and over for many years. They think the people are cowards, and that when they threaten and come out with tanks, tear gas, and all the like, people would withdraw. No, this time I hope that the people continue, and yes, in Yaoundé and in Douala, most of the arms depot, yes, who are those in charge? The Betis are in charge. So yes, but if all the other regions should rise against the center and east, even east is not all of east, it's half of east. when we have been talking about center, I worked in Ibolova. I worked in Ibolova. I've been to playing in second division. I've been to all the so-called divisions in what do you call that division again? I mean the region. It's the southern region. So
Okay.
all
It's
those
the
people
South.
there, the south, yes, they are defending Bia, but they don't have roads, they don't have water, they don't have their villages where if they saw a bottle of beer once a week, they, you find them celebrating because of no roads. So it is what they are doing, supporting their own tribesman. I think they too have realized, some of them have realized that this is working against them. And I used to find them in social media talking, saying, I saw one threatening today, said if they touch one person, everybody should come out and attack the CPDM. So the regime is making a mistake if they think what has been going on for all these years, for all 4 decades, that the people will still take it. No, it is, the cup has overflowed and the people have said, no, we can't take this anymore. So Mr. Issa Tchiroma, he should continue with what he's doing. Yes, they cannot say they are indicting him because that is an illegal government. Yes, that's an illegal government. And with Atanganji and Gongo, how can you imagine that in a country, the president delegates somebody who is not elected by the people to be president? Gongo has virtually been president for 7 years. So that's an illegal regime, and nobody amongst them should even have the guts to go to attack Issa Tchiroma, who has been chosen by the people.
Eric, please comment on that point.
Yeah, let me join in here. I completely agree with what commentator is saying there. And even before I go into the details of it, let me just emphasize something here. It's one of my favorite sayings that with dictatorships, one aspect with dictatorships, if you've seen them and monitor them around the world, you'll know one aspect with them is they never actually believe they are falling until they fall. Even when all the signs are there that they are falling, when the whole world is saying that they are falling, that dictatorship never believe they are falling. And the reason being that they always believe in their ultimate power. The power they've enjoyed over the years, they always believe that power is still there. Even when that power has long left them and returned to the people. Where Cameroon is today, the power is with the people. We are seeing the signs. And when that happens, it is the beginning of a regime falling. And they will be locked in that their mentality of believing they still have the people with them or they still have the military with them until that moment when they come crushing. Now, to get back to the initial question that you raised that comrade commentator was responding to, I do not think this regime would want to risk opening another front of conflict in the north. We all remember how they declared war on southern Cameroonians. They declared that war with the intent and the plan that it was something they will go in there and finish within 2-3 weeks. Who are these people? What have they got? They will be crushed within 2-3 weeks. Little did they know that 8-9 years after, their militaries will still be falling. Militaries will still be getting killed on a daily basis in that area, in the southern Cameroons. To think they will have the guts or the audacity to open another front, which will even be more wilder than what they are saying in the southern Cameroons. I do not think they have that courage, the energy, or the resources. Now the question then becomes, what happens? What's the way forward? What would they do? Should Tchiroma emphasize and insist on going ahead to create his own side government, whether he declares Garoua his own capital, where he will be operating, is something that we can only guess and wait to see how it happens. Because where things are, Tchiroma is not backing down. That's somebody who is moving ahead, and whatever plan he has got, we do not know at this point. We can only wait to see what happens in the next coming days and weeks. Cameroon is at a crossroad, and it a turning point, one which, if not managed carefully, could be catastrophic. The entire country could implode. I'm not saying exploding, it will implode. That's where they are at the moment.
Tchiroma is not backing down, you said, Eric, and I'd like you guys to take a look at this photo. Some people say Tchiroma is ready to avenge the imprisonment they gave him in the 80s. Look at this photo. The photo of Issa Tchiroma in detention, in prison in the 80s in La République du Cameroon. That was Issa Tchiroma in prison in those days, in the 80s in Cameroon. Would it be right to say Issa Tchiroma is about avenging those who imprisoned him many years ago?
I have seen that image circulating, and I have my reservations because I wasn't completely or fully convinced that that photo was from the imprisonment, because I thought something where we're in the age of AI.
You think
I do
this
not
is
know.
AI?
I'm not saying that it's. Yeah, I saw that image. I wasn't convinced. All we know is that he spent 6 years in prison. That's a fact.
Yes.
We can't dispute that. From
Yeah.
1984 to 1990, he was wrongly imprisoned and accused for being part of the coup d'etat, a coup d'etat which we know that was orchestrated by this regime to target the Northerners. They claim that it was something planned by Ahidjo and the Northerners is highly disputed. And to think that a young man who came in from France, had studied, got his engineering degree, came and was working for the country with the Cameroon Railway at the time, and got picked up simply because he was a Northerner and thrown behind bars for 6 years, is something which hasn't left his memory. Now, whether he plans to avenge or not, I cannot jump into that because that's pure speculation. And that's also probably why this clan, this Beti Bulu clan, is so scared of letting power return to the north, because they are worried that should that happen, they may want to revenge or retaliate for what they did to them, which is probably what explains that you see many supposedly opposition leaders, people you thought were traditional opposition leaders to this regime, at the last minute turning around and supporting the regime. I mean, those from that clan, from the Beti Bulu clan.
Yeah.
The only reason can be that they are worried about power returning to the north, because they fear that there could be some retributions or revenge should Tchiroma take power. But I don't see that happening. We've moved, the country has moved far away from that era, and they should, I believe.
Cameroonian women and men. Today, it is with.
I don't know. I can hear.
Sorry about that. Go on.
Oh, okay. I thought it was intentional. No. So I was saying I do not see the Tchiroma of today, one who wants to step back into the 80s and want to bring revenge onto those who imprisoned him. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, Comrade Eric, yes, I want just to add to what Comrade Eric just said. Mr. Tchiroma, for the time that he was minister, I don't think he was somebody who came across as speaking on behalf of Northeast. He was speaking on behalf of all Cameroonians. So to say that he's coming in there because he wants to avenge what was done to the Northerners, I don't think that's what he's going to do. If he's coming in as president of Cameroon, yes, I know it's wrong that the first president was from there. Now Biya has been there, and then he's going back to the north. There are other tribes in Cameroon too who should also take over power. But hey, he's the one who stood up and said, "I'm interested." The others some tried, but they were not that popular. They could not get the votes, so the population has chosen him. So let him be. Yes. So yeah, Comrade Chris, what were you about to say?
No, I wanted you to handle that part of the question. Now let's move over back to the Constitutional Council. Do you see these people for once nurturing the courage maybe to question Elekam and tell Elekam, because I don't know how they are going to reject what Elekam put on their table. They have no means of verifying what Elekam puts on their table. So rubber stamping what Elekam brings on is essentially saying, Elekam, you did the right thing. How can they be blamed for announcing results from Elekam?
To all
If I
the
may
Comrade
jump on
Chris.
that.
women who
Oh,
fought
okay. No,
this
go ahead.
battle before me, without your work,
Go ahead, Comrade Comta.
we would not
Okay.
be here
Comrade
today.
Chris,
For this,
uh,
I
the
say
Constitutional Council and
thank you.
Elekam, all of us, we know
I
it's
also
they are one.
thank the candidates
They are one.
who have already sent me
Comrade Chris, what's that
sorry
noise?
about that. Go on, please.
Yeah, the Constitutional Council and Elekam, they are one. So the Constitutional Council is just coming to proclaim that this is the winner. They are not. Yes, it's not. They already know. They already know who won in the elections. But if the day they come to declare, if they come and declare BR, it means they had. Of course, they would have met and agreed. Yes, after all the rigging has been done, after all the changes of the results have been done. Yes, they will know. They will know before they come there to say, "Oh, Bia has won." If they try that again, but hey, as we are saying this time, the population is waiting. The population is waiting. They should not think that 2 weeks. 2 weeks is this is already one week is almost over. Next week is not far. Yes, another week. Yes, the population is ready. The population is ready, and they will not. Sorry.
Yes, Eric, go on, please. He is having issues with his connection there.
From where he ended, I think I agree with him that the time scale that sounded as 15 days, yes, it sounded long, but it's going so quick given what is happening. The pressure on them and the fact that technology, civilians are exposing Elekam in a way that they themselves were not prepared to counter. They never expected this civilian participation, civilian involvement in capturing results in real time and sharing. I think this is what has put Elekam officials under enormous pressure, and enormous pressure to the point where some of them are resisting. As we speak, there are Elekam officials refusing to validate results that have been changed.
Yeah.
We saw that happening in Cham. And that's why chaos broke out in Cham, because an Elekam official was refusing to validate the results that had been rigged, that had been changed. This also is happening in other areas. And if you saw the CPDM headquarters or the leadership urgently summoning, inviting and calling for section presidents and individuals who were in the election commission to report to Yaoundé, is because there is panic in that circle. Things are not going as planned. The rigging machinery that they had in place has been exposed, and the figures are not adding up. They are in panic, and that's why time is going so fast. Today's Friday already. We're in the weekend, and Monday, the clock starts ticking. Yes, I agree with you that when these results are handed over to the Constitutional Council, they can simply turn around, as they did in 1992, and say their hands are tied, which is true because they have no way to counter whatever thing Elekam is bringing to them. So where the pressure and the message should be going to are to these Elekam officials. They should be stopped before they even carry what they're carrying to hand to the Constitutional Council. Because once that's done, Clement and his team there at the council will simply say, these are the papers that have been presented to us by Elekam officials. They are all signed and validated. Whether the middle pages reflect what was actually brought in from the polling station is something which they cannot dispute. They cannot verify. They will see the front and the last pages being signed, and the figures inside are on the authentic election letterheads and whatever, they will simply go ahead and declare the winner based on those figures. They can verify.
Yeah.
So those who are under pressure and who should be stopped are the election officials at the sub-divisional levels, the divisional levels, the regions, before they actually get to the Constitutional Council. And I believe that message is going to them.
Because the opposition doesn't have the apparatus to do that. We realize in some areas, like in Victoria, we saw the other night, they were logging people up to force them to sign false results. If they do that, carry those things to Yaoundé and declare this is what we brought from the polling station. The problem is there is nobody to stop them.
When I say stopping them, it is by the actions of the people. The message, the strong message the people are sending out there is that we know the results from the polling stations. If something reaches Yaoundé, which is not what we saw or what we have on our cameras, you will be held accountable. And this could also explain why people are running away. There are people choosing to run away than to sign those papers. Now, will they end up being signed by individuals brought from space or whatever? We don't know. But those papers will be signed and they will be sent to Yaoundé. And how that will be disputed at the Constitutional Council is what Tchiroma is not even willing to entertain, because it's pointless once those results are there in Yaoundé with the Constitutional Council. So people, individuals, the election officials at the regional, subdivisional, and the provincial levels should mind whatever thing they are getting their fingers onto, because it is not business as usual. There will be repercussions. The people will be coming for them. Are they willing to take that risk? It's a question we'll leave hanging.
Yeah.
Because the country is at a crossroad. Cameroon is at a crossroad.
So essentially, everything lies in the hands of the people and the ability of Issa Tchiroma to stand with the people.
Absolutely, 100%. And my comrade commenter said there that it's rather unfortunate that we are talking here about the North again, power returning to the Northern Bloc after being there before the Biya's regime. Had Kamto, I'm sorry to say this, had Maurice Kamto back in 2018 showed an iota of courage, which we are seeing from Tchiroma, I'm sure the country would have started changing since that time. Remember, there was a similar momentum. There was a similar scenario. But the people believe that Maurice Kamto didn't stand up there to give them what they needed to defend those votes. He didn't speak the language that the people wanted to hear. Because had he spoken that language, the people would have responded. People are responding now and willing and determined to protect this vote because the flag bearer is speaking. And that's why things are navigating back to the North.
Right. Let us look at the allegations of government officials, Paul Atanganji and Ngongo families beginning to run out of the country. We learned that Ngongo sent his wife and the family, they are already out of the country. Paul Atanganji's family, we learn his children, they are also out of the country. Doesn't this send a sense of surrender, giving up? And there must be lots of pressure. Do you think that Paul Biya is aware that these guys are sending their families out to go into hiding?
Before being aware that these ministers are sending their families away, that's somebody who, I doubt his state of mind. I really wonder what he's thinking at the moment. Because at times I want to strongly believe Paul Biya is even unaware of what is going on. Now, for their families being abroad, I know somebody like Tanganji, the children have always been abroad. They are not resident in Cameroon. For Ngongo, I do not know about the children. but their spouses, if the information that their wives are now in Europe or are making their way out of Cameroon, that speaks volumes. And that's what every other CPDM official, people like the Philemon Yang, the Madame Famundam Rose Mbacha, who
Yeah.
orchestrated fraud on a terrible magnitude in the northwest, in the northern region of the southern Cameroon, should be worried. They should be asking themselves questions. Because the reason why I cited these two is because it's frustrating, it's painful to see what they did in Batibo in particular, which will bring me onto the issue on why it probably maybe wasn't the wisest idea to stop our people from coming out there and participating in these elections. Because if you look across those regions, any stronghold, any stronghold where the people are still steadfast and determined about the Anglophone crisis, the CPDM won.
Right.
The CPDM won because there was nobody out there. It was just them and the military. A case in question is Batibu. I do not know whether you saw images of their campaign before the
I
elections.
saw it with some carrying banners advertising Paul Biya.
100%. Yes, she was the one, the Minister for State Control for the Cameroon La République, Madame Mbacha Rose Mafamandam, as I call her. She went out there and gathered a few people. She even ferried in people into Batibu because those are not locals. She brought in people from the outside. They went to the military triangle in the Batibu Center and also the Wayne Station, which is now a military camp. Did a few photo shoot with the long banner saying Batibu 100% for Paul Biya. If you counted those people, I'm not sure they're up to 200. No, even 100. I'm not sure up to 100 people. If you counted them one by one. They did that show and returned. Waited for Sunday, which was the election day. And came out there, did their normal magic, which they call voting, and left. On Monday morning, I do not know whether you've seen the result that came out from Batibu, because everyone is laughing about it. It's a laughing issue, but very painful. As an indigent, I feel embarrassed and very, very frustrated, because to think that at the moment you can't honestly count up to 7,000 people, or even say to see 2,000 people in Batibu at the moment, you will have to struggle. To see 2,000, you have to struggle. Then to talk of say 2,000 who will vote, you will struggle. Then to think 2,000 who will vote the CPDM. Batibu is a strong opposition territory. It's a strong hold for the struggle.
And by the
So
way,
even if you
Batibu
have
was locked down like
2,000
any
people-
other. And by the way, Batibu was locked down like every other Ambazonian town.
Correct. That's what I'm driving to. I'm driving to that. Because I am saying, hypothetically, that let's assume that we had people out there walking freely and willing to go and vote. Let's say there were 2,000 people who were free to do whatever they wanted to do. From those 2,000, I am not sure 500 would have been willing to walk or take the risk to go to the polling station to go cast the vote. Then from those who actually had the courage to go to those polling stations, I am not sure half of them will be voting the CPDM. So to sit back and see the CPDM parading results from Batibu saying 7,000 or 6,000 people voted for the CPDM and 176 voted for Tchiroma is extremely painful. As an elite, as an indigent of that from that area, who knows what is going on, it is extremely painful and shows the share of arrogance with this regime and their officials. The arrogance is frightening. Where did she get 6,000 people from to vote for the CPDM? That's the question every Batibo indigenous should be asking. And people close to her should be asking her, show us where you had 6,000 people to vote for you or for the CPDM.
Yeah. Eric, if I may
But
ask you before we move on to a different subject, I know you work very closely with Dr. Chris Fomonyo, who is the National Democratic Institute representative, I guess, either for all of Africa or West Africa. What is he saying, looking at what has transpired in Cameroon, being that they are out fighting for good governance and democratic elections?
I think Dr. Chris Fominio he's been very vocal. He's been very vocal and very outspoken and has condemned what is happening there in Cameroon. He's made some interviews lately. I don't know whether you had a chance to read some of them. He's been
I actually
very
reached out to
critical.
him to bring him on the show, but I never got him.
Maybe you need to keep trying. Maybe you haven't tried harder. He should.
Okay.
He's somebody very open and always very willing to speak freely and express what he thinks. He speaks his mind. That's one good thing with him. So if you try a bit harder and bring him to the show here, he will answer some of your questions. But to go back onto the question of what has he said or what is he doing, he's been very critical of the entire process. He's been very vocal on how this regime is playing out and what they are doing. So he is strong to his words and has condemned the actions of this regime without wavering. He wasn't speaking with water in his mouth. He's been very, very clear on the actions and called them out for what they are in the most recent interviews that he made, which I will just reference you to read them.
Let's get to another subject which is very important. You all know that the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia has been in war for the past 9 years, and should Issa Tchiroma win the elections and become president, that will be the immediate issue on the table. I'd like you to listen to what he said in this video clip to a TV anchor in La République du Cameroon. Let's listen, please.
The crisis has been ongoing for the past 9 years and is still ongoing, as I rightly said. Tell us, how are you going to solve this problem concretely?
I'm going to solve it because in my program, you have already taken notice of it. I will come back to federalism. I will summon experts, constitutionalists, economists, and all those who in one way or other have been involved in this conflict. All of them will be liberated. I will grant them amnesty. Let us come together. This is our nation. Our nation. Let us come together around the table and listen to each other. All shareholders in this nation has to be brought together, have to be involved in this process. Within maybe some few months, 6 months, not more than a year, we will find a common denominator, and this will be submitted to the people through a referendum. Once it is adopted, then it will be implemented. But before so, I will liberate them, because their right place is not in prison. They have to be the maker of our nation.
All right. That was Issa Tchiroma responding to a question as per the way to resolve the conflict in Ambazonia. He talks about amnesty, talks about the possibility of a referendum and gathering constitutional experts to look at how to resolve the conflict in a permanent manner. The problem that I see here, Eric, is Francophone leaders, they always think they have to tell Southern Cameroonians what has to be done, what should be done. I never hear them saying, okay, we're going to listen to Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, to find out how they think this conflict can be resolved. Because when you are talking about constitutional experts, you want constitutional experts to define what should be done instead of asking the victims what should be done. This has been ongoing for a long time in La République du Cameroon. Remember, 2019, they called the Grand National Dialogue and gave Ambazonians, Southern Cameroon, special status without asking the people. They created the so-called House of Chiefs, Regional House of Chiefs, without asking the people. Regional councils without asking the people, and they said they have resolved the problem. And for 9 years, they refused to do any other thing. Shouldn't the process be to invite Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonian leaders to the table and say, tell us what you want. Let's see how we can together resolve this.
I agree with you. I agree with you in the way you have presented it and how you think it should be done. But one thing I would want to share with you is you should know this is politics. It is politics, and in as much as we are passionate about a cause, we should know it's politics, and it's politics. There is always interest. Politics is a game of interest. And no one, no politician, no leader, no group will ever willfully let go of their interest for your own sake. But should there be an avenue, a platform where we all can sit in there and present our different interests, it could be the beginning, it could be a starting point to start a conversation which we do not know how it would end. But the idea, the fact that there is a leader here emerging who is even willing and doing so genuinely, should be seen as a positive sign. It may not be what our people want. It may not fully address what or how we want things to happen. But the idea that he is creating or willing or showing signs of creating an aspect or a platform for dialogue should be commended, because we are yet 9 years into this conflict with a regime that we know their position. Their position is deadlock. They're not willing to discuss. There is no room for conversation. There is no room for dialogue. There is no equal or a level playing field with this so-called, as they call it, separatist. Yeah. That's their status quo, and that's what they believe in. That's their language. So if we think, or if we see someone who is speaking or diverting a little bit away from that status quo, I think it should be welcome. Welcome with the intention or with the mindset that it is an avenue to start genuine conversations. They may say how they want that conversation to go. He may define how or what he expects from that conversation. He's only defining it. It is not the final say, because it will be a matter of dialogue. He will be sitting there with his own constitutional experts, with our own leadership or the leadership from the Southern Cameroons, presenting their own individuals there and having a level playing conversation, a level fair conversation on the way forward. So to me, just the idea or the fact that he is opening up, he is promising amnesties for everybody, meaning that you can even go back to Cameroon and participate in that conversation. Come attack and return to Cameroon and participate in those conversations. But with the current regime, there is no chance. There is no hope. So to me, in as much as I am passionate with this, our struggle, you know it, I believe Tchiroma is somebody that can make a difference, and he should be given that chance.
Well, he's my friend, as people know, so I will give him
that chance. Do you hear me now?
I will give him that chance. Yes, Chairman,
do you hear me?
Yes, please come in and
Yes.
make your point there.
On what I was lost. My network was bad. What's the point you are discussing?
The point is Tchiroma is promising to resolve the Ambazonian conflict. However, we've always had the problem where Francophone leaders want to dictate to us what they think the solution is. Look at, for example, the so-called Grand National Dialogue. They sat together, gave us by their own volition special status. They gave us so-called House of Chiefs, regional House of Chiefs without consultations. And they created the so-called regional councils without consultations. And according to them, the problem was resolved. And for 9 years, they've done nothing since then. So we hear Issa Tchiroma talking of putting together constitutional experts to look into this, the release of prisoner, and I heard somebody talk, I think he was talking with Agbobala, talking about releasing the prisoners within 3 months, and I'm wondering, why not release them on day one? He even mentioned amnesty in this video clip I just played here. They don't need amnesty. They never did anything wrong. And I think, in my opinion, they should be released on day one or the next day that Issa Tchiroma is president with no conditions. With no conditions at all. So I'd like to know what you think about this.
Okay. People from La République, as we call them, Francophones, they are not trustworthy. Growing up, we knew every Francophone was a liar. Whenever you saw a Francophone, you said, that's a liar. And over the years, their arrogance, especially when it comes to the treatment they give to Southern Cameroonians, is not something we can continue to take for granted. They can continue to take for granted. Yes, I would trust the Northeast politician over the Southern. Issa Tchiroma has promised all what he's saying, but we have to take it with a pinch of salt, and until we get to that table and discuss and agree, I will still I'll advise all of us that we should not start singing hallelujah when it's not yet time. Yes, he has promised to solve the issue. But he is already telling us how he's going to solve it. No, he should not tell us. It's just what the past regime has done. You have a problem, and then somebody is bringing a solution to you. Instead of them asking you, what is your solution? What do you want? They instead say, here's the solution to your problem. They don't even listen to the problem. They just say, here's the solution to the problem. So, Mr. Tchiroma is a politician. And of course, he's a fox, yes. And we have to be very careful when talking with him. Yes, we have to go to the table. And as you have said it, we have to get our constitutional experts. Yes, let them be there to represent us. Yes. And Mr. Tchiroma with his team will be there, I hope. But all of these thieves, these rogues, these bandits who are in government, we hope no one will come here. And even those in Southern Cameroonians and Ambazonia, like the Fais and the who is head of the Musonge, all of those people, all of those ones, they should not near that table. They should not come near. They don't speak for the behalf of Southern Cameroons. They don't. They should go. They are unionists. They want one Cameroon, so they should go.
You think Issa Tchiroma is going to keep the Musonges, the Atangangis, and the Gerard Galat, Gerard of the world?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying somebody like Musonge who heads the bilingual commission, they may call him that come. Yes, he may. I don't know, but certainly Atanganji will never be in his books. Atanganji, oh, that's my friend and classmate. We grew up together and we used to do things together. But even though we no longer talk, yes. So I don't think we should be dancing already. No, we should listen to him. Yes, we should go to the table, listen to what he has to say. And 3 months is too long. Why should he say 3 months to release the prisoners? First of all, why are they prisoners? They are not prisoners. They're not even prisoners because what did they do wrong? So they should be released as soon as he becomes president. It should not take a week for them to be released. It shouldn't take a week.
Eric, what should happen to? Okay, go on, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to just to add before we move to the next point to clarify something.
Yeah.
I am not saying we should start celebrating or singing songs and hoping for the miracles to happen with Tchiroma. No. What I am saying is, this is my argument. We could disagree or we could agree to disagree on this one. But this is how I've been pushing and presenting it, that we are in a situation where there is a regime that is not willing and has bad faith in whatever thing they are doing with regard to this, our struggle. The attempts they've made in the past in trying to resolve the conflict were all done in bad faith. The Grand National Dialogue, we don't have to go over it. We know that was a window painting or a cosmetic move taken to give the impression that they wanted to resolve a conflict, because none of the things that were brought out from there meant anything. They were just window dressing proposals and recommendations. And even the little that they came out from there, none has been implemented. So we are dealing here with a regime that has no intention whatsoever to resolve this conflict. My argument is that we have somebody who is willing or making promises and signing some, he has signed documents promising to engage in good faith to resolve this conflict. Whether he sits there and defines how he believes he wants to see the conflict resolved is up to him. It's entirely up to him. He has that right. It is his right to do so as a politician. He is presenting what he believes is a solution. That doesn't mean the other side should just accept it or will take it. But the fact that he is willing and is opening up for a conversation to happen and giving an opportunity for everybody, everyone, to sit down and be involved with that conversation is a plus that we should encourage and support him to do. If there is anything that our people can do to see Tchiroma get into power, we should encourage our people to do so, because there is a chance of something different happening. How that thing happens, we do not yet know. But there's a chance of something positive coming out from there, better than what we have at the moment. We could say the better of two bad options. We go with the better of the two bad options. That's my argument.
I think I am in agreement with you, Chairman. I will come right back to you. I am in agreement with you, Eric. The only fear that I have is these leaders, when they come around making all the promises, they get into power, they no longer listen to, they don't have the ears of the voter. They have the ears of the French. That is a problem. That's one problem I have with a lot of Republican politicians. Once they are there, they start listening to what the French are saying, no longer to what they promise the people and what the people want them to do.
Okay, Comrade Chris. I read something on social media saying France is trying to intervene to make sure Biya leaves and Tchiroma is sworn in. Biya should be receiving his salary for 6 months, and after that he should be receiving a third of his salary for how many years? The wife should receive 8 million. The minister should be paid for 3 years. I don't know where that document comes from. I don't know if it's true, but I will advise Mr. Tchiroma that he should stay away from the French. Yes, each country needs diplomatic relations. Yes, each country needs foreign partners. But Mr. Tchiroma should not let France play what France has been doing over the years. If Mr. Tchiroma does that, then I'm sorry, we will never ever, our problem will never be solved. We'll never ever, this war will never stop, and he will be a failed president, because if he is able to bring Southern Cameroonians to the table and we talk and we are able to resolve the differences, yes, that's good. It's good. But if he doesn't, if he listens to the French, then I'm afraid there'll be no solution. There'll be no solution. The impasse would continue.
Eric, please.
Yeah, I share the concerns. I see where Comrade Komata is coming from with the concerns he's raising there. They are legitimate. About that document he's referring to, I have read that document. I do not want to believe it is authentic. We don't know where that came from, but I do not want to believe that document is authentic. Conversations might be going on. Things may be going on. Things may be going on, but we do not know what the details are. The document to me is a fabrication, so we shouldn't dwell much on that. Now, on the aspect of Tchiroma not to listen to France, to me, I would want to say it should be the least of our concerns at this point. We shouldn't try crossing a bridge which we haven't reached there yet. Let's focus and help Tchiroma dismantle this system. When this system is dismantled, then we start trying to cross our own bridge and holding Tchiroma to task. The idea or the concerns that politicians change their words when they get into power, it's it is politics. It is what it is. But as a people, Tchiroma knows the determination of these people he's trying to engage with, or he's making promises to. 7, 8, 9 years of a conflict with people who are not willing to let go and are fighting to the last man standing is a strong message. And I believe something that Tchiroma can't mess around with. He understands that. He knows it. So to me, I would suggest, or I'll keep recommending and advising that we let all these concerns, they are legitimate concerns, of course, but we should put them aside and encourage our people, focus on supporting them to give the necessary support that Tchiroma needs to bring down this regime. Once the regime has fallen, we can start talking and engaging and seeing how to construct the bridge which we want to cross. If that makes sense.
It does.
Yes, it does,
Yes,
Comrade Eric. Yes, Comrade Eric. Mr. Tchiroma is not only there to solve our problem. I get you. It's Africa. Africa should be for Africans. Africans should take control of Africa. So even if Tchiroma is there and our problem is not solved, or even if it's solved, it will be great for us to have a La République next door that it's able to control her territory, is able to take decisions, and not decisions being made abroad, being made in France. So I am longing for that day that La République will be able to stand up and say, no, this is what we have decided, not what France is telling them to do. So that is not, the cry is not only for La République, but it's for all of Africa. If all African countries can stand up, yes, to the west, and then be on their own and be really independent, not independence on paper and then controlled from the west.
But I have a question for both of you guys. Tchiroma will be facing a country that has been devastated for the past 9 years, economically, politically, and socially. And then you are here talking about Africa. What has Africa got to do with fixing Cameroon and doing the right things? I think that should wait in the back burner.
Should I go, Eric? Okay, Eric.
Yeah, go ahead. It's a follow-up question to what you just said. Maybe you jump in first, then I'll come after that.
Eric, go ahead.
I think he has
All
a
right,
bad
let me
camera.
go ahead while Comrade Commander sorts out himself there. Yeah, I think I see where Comrade Commander was coming from. And again, I see also your own concerns there. We have a burning raw, it's a burning charcoal in our palm. I think what we want to deal with first is how to let go, is to want to sort our palm first before
Yeah.
start looking at the bigger picture of Africa and the like, which I completely agree with you. But even again, to address that issue, Cameroon, what is quite peculiar with the situation we are facing is this will be the first time, should it happen, which we all pray should happen, should this regime fall with its current momentum going on, this will be the first time in the history of Cameroon that power has actually returned to the people, or that a regime has been changed by the people. And you know, when that happens, whether you are a lion or a tiger or a jaguar that is at the leadership, when you know that your power came from the people, you are extremely cautious on how you go about business. You don't do business as usual. You don't go with the licky-lacky way of pampering or being the should I say figurehead for a foreign country, because you know that the people that gave you power have that power to hold you accountable, and it emboldens you as a leader to do what is good for the country and not for some foreign power. Look around Africa today. Go starting from the Burkina Faso to the Mali to the Guinea to any country, or even Ghana, where power comes from the people, or where a leader is empowered by the people, he works for the people. If a leader is enthroned or put into position by a foreign power, he works for that foreign power. This is not rocket science. So Tchiroma is in a position where his power will be coming from the people. And I can guarantee you that should that happen, he will be accountable to the people. And Comrade Komota's fears will be addressed, because there he will be looking at issues for the interests of Cameroonians and not for France, because it will not be France that will put him there. Should he become president, the people of Cameroon would have made him president, and by default, he will be accountable to those people, because he knows that should he do otherwise, the same people that gave him power, will take the power from him. So to me, this is an extraordinary time for Cameroonians, and one that should really, really be commended and encouraged in whatever way that's possible to see it through to the end, because it will change the history of that country forever. And even the concerns about France and foreign powers will be a secondary issue, because the people will be having the power. The people will be emboldened. They will know that, oh, so we have what it takes to change a leadership. And the next one coming will know that the people have the power. Until now, power has been with Paul Biya. And that has played into the minds of Cameroonians to think that they have no power. They can't do anything. And have always stayed back. But they are gradually coming to the realization that they have that power. And should they use that power to empower Issa Tchiroma, Tchiroma will be accountable to them.
All right. Chairman, come in there, please.
Sorry, I got lost. I got disconnected. I just came back. What?
The question was, why should Tchiroma be why should you be talking about Tchiroma looking into African Pan-Africanism when there are so many problems back at home for the past 9 years?
Okay. No country is an island. We need each other to survive. So if I'm talking first about Cameroon, like the Republic of Cameroon, because it's our neighbor, and we need not only like the Republic of Cameroon. If we have a stable Africa, most of us will not be here where we are. will not be in Europe or in America, so will be back home. It's easier for you to cross into one African country and than to be coming here and staying with these winters and all this and that. Yes, but yes, for 9 years the war has been going on. But this is the problems of La Republique did not start today. It's not only for 9 years ago. So these thieves have been in power for over 40 years, and they've been stealing. They've been stealing all these years. So all this, yes, the economy is in ruins, but some of them are very rich. You can find individuals who are richer than the state, and yet they are not business people. They are politicians. So if all these politicians if they are blocked from living in national territory, and yes, even detain them, lock them up, so they should bring some of this money back, it will help. Now, talking about Africanism, Pan-Africanism, and the rest of the global world, yes, we have to survive, and for us to survive, we need what? We need cooperation. We need diplomatic relations with other countries. We need foreign exchange. We need all of that. So, for Tchiroma to come and try to solve the problem that he's solving Cameroon's problems, he cannot solve Cameroon's problems without keeping away the French. If he has, as Comrade Eric rightly said, he has been voted by the people, so the people have given him the power. But you know what has been happening throughout, what has been happening in every country, in most countries in Africa. So if he listens to the people and the people stand by him and he does what the people want, then La Republique will be happy to have a strong neighbor, whereby whereby the president is there for his people, not listening to what is coming from Europe. So what I'm saying is, a stable La Republique gives room for a stable southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. It gives room for a stable Chad, Central Africa, Nigeria, Gabon, and every country in Africa that is stable and is able to have a good economy. This also goes. This goes to help the problems in other African countries.